everybody, and welcome to Against the Fence. This is your latest UFC news with that real fan opinion. And tonight we're going to be talking about the two title fights that got announced for UFC 272. And that was Alexander Volkanovski defending his title for the third time against Max Holloway. And that fight will be the third time as well. And then also, what also got announced was Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan 2. That's finally been re-announced. Both of those set for UFC 272. We're off to a flying start to 2022. And look, I can't wait to see these title fights. But let's dig into then the news. This was put out by Brett Okamoto yesterday. And he claims that both contracts are yet to be signed, though. But it's looking very likely to be finalized. So I've got no worry about that. They'll definitely get made, that's for sure. Max, of course, is coming off of that decision win against Yair Rodriguez in November. And we had Alexander Volkanovski coming off a decision win against Brian Ortega, and that was in September. So, only 2 months apart. Ash is in the chats. He says, yes, let's go. And some think that Max won both of those previous fights. And some of you might say that Max at least won one of those fights. Maybe the first one, because it was a split decision. Which is why most of us want to see that fight a third time, despite the fact that Volkanovski has already beaten him twice. We had some interesting comments. I was speaking to Ben Lawrence, shout out to Ben Lawrence, earlier on Twitter, who is kind of against the idea. And I'll read it to you now, because he kind of said, I love Max, but lose to Dustin, can't knock out Frankie, loses twice in a row to Volk, both title fights, 2 decision wins, and now another title fight against Volk. Am I missing something here? This really is a clown world for real. Okay, so I thought it was quite interesting. It's first time hearing these things, someone against the idea, because all I've seen is just people that are totally for it. And I think majority of that comes from Max Holloway being a lovable fighter, and Volkanovski over the past few years has gained a lot of popularity, and of course he's getting pretty big over in Australia there. And I sort of shared my thoughts to Ben, and he said, lots of fighters and fans feel decisions could have gone either way, and I get it, Max is a legend, but in my opinion, this does nothing to legitimize MMA as a real sport. Interesting. Take all of the fluff away. Max is getting a third title fight against a guy who beat him twice, and after 2 decision wins as well. I must go back, because there's not many times where fighters get paired together for the third time when one guy has already won twice. Okay, the last time I can think of that was Frank Edgar versus BJ Penn. Did I want to see Frank Edgar versus BJ Penn back then for the third time? No, I didn't. I was completely against the idea. But I was completely against the idea because both of those wins from Frankie were obvious. It's pretty clear. They were clear-cut winners. Whereas, with this fight, a little bit of controversy. There was a large amount of people felt that Max won, I think, the first one. I personally felt the same. So this is why I'm not so bothered about seeing it a third time. I mean, yeah, Max is an entertaining guy as well. Both guys are entertaining. Ben is tuning in. Max getting a third after 0-2 is ridiculous. Yeah, so he's tuning in. Nice for you to tune in, Ben. Your thoughts have been much appreciated on this. Ash enjoying the Frankie shout-outs. Also happened with Ken Shamrock. Yes, that was with T Ortiz indeed. No fighter has won the third. So, maybe it could be looking like 3 in a row for Volk. We'll get into it, if that does happen. But yeah, my thoughts on it were, and I said this to Ben, is I think it's just a lack of challengers. We haven't seen a clear challenger other than Brian Ortega for quite some time. However, we might see it very soon. Don't get me wrong. Giga Jakadze is looking phenomenal. He's one win away at least from a title shot if he gets past Calvin Kattar, which is next week. But then if you look at the rankings themselves and you look at the types of fighters at the top, you've got Yair Rodriguez. He's had injuries. Okay. Chen Sonjung, he's had various stuff to do with the military over in Korea. So he was out for a long time. Yes, he's coming off a win against Dan Ige, which was last year. That's impressive. And of course, Calvin Kattar has looked phenomenal, but he did lose against Max. Josh Emmett is coming off a win against Dan Ige as well. And, you know, he's only 17-2 in the division, but he's also had injury problems. And then in the 7, you've got Arnold Allen, who I think deserves a push and hasn't been given a push. However, I just think the UFC are protecting him and holding him back a little bit. But yeah, you know, that's the top 7. And other than that, you can't give someone like Giga Chikadze a title fight straight after a win against Edson Barbosa when Edson Barbosa was sort of in the middle of the rankings. You know, it has been shallow, and that's why we're in this predicament of Max Holloway finding it out against Volkanovski for the third time, and by probably popular demand. You know, other questions you might want to ask is, could the UFC have done Max Holloway versus Korean Zombie as a title eliminator? Maybe. But I think the UFC might be aiming to get 2 or 3 fights out of Volkanovski this year. You know, that's out my opinion. He only had 1 last year, only defended that belt once. It was scheduled, of course, before that. Things fell through, injury, COVID, that sort of thing. You know, I just got a feeling maybe if we can get 2 or 3 out of Volk, I think that'd be ideal. Of course, he's got to get through them, and of course, he's got to stay healthy at the same time. Frankie Ash saying, yeah, then Max wins the 4th. Ha 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 ha. Oh, wait, so he was replying to Ben, who also said, also happened. Yeah, okay, no, I've read that one out already. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. Let's get into what happens then. Okay, what happens if Max wins? Do we get a 4th fight? Possible. Is Max going to stick around for how long? You know, we don't know. We could see a 4th fight. It's been unheard of in UFC history. A lot of people feel that they might, you know, Conor McGregor fans want a 4th fight against Dustin Poirier. Down the line, as history moves on, are we going to start to see more 4th fights? The closer these, you know, UFC fights get? I hope not. You know, I really do. But it's a possibility if Max does win. However, if Volk wins for a 3rd time, what's next for Max? Because let's face it, you can't go up to 155. You tried that. You fought Dustin Poirier. You felt his power in that division. Didn't quite work out your way. You know, you're not going to be slipping and popping punches with those guys up there. Let's face it. So, you know, do you stick around and just be a gatekeeper in the division? I guess, for as long as Volkanovski's got that belt. Unless Volkanovski loses it, of course. Probably the only likelihood thing to do. If you lose. That's my opinion. I think that's all that's going to happen. Let's get into then my prediction for this fight. Okay. Personally, I'd like to see Max win. I'd like to see Max Holloway win. I think he would grab a decision if he was to win. But now it's a big but. Looking at both of their guys' last fights, okay? If you want to judge it based on, you know, because there is a saying, you're only as good as your last fight. You'd probably want to give it to Volkanovski, right? Because he just looked so much stronger in that Brian Ortega fight than Max did against Yair. You know, Yair had a lot of success against Max in some of those rounds. It was very close. Does the same happen in the fight 3rd time against Volk? You know, are we going to see history repeat itself? And maybe. You know, because Volk is quite good at, you know, managing his distance effectively, even though he's a shorter guy. I don't know, man. It's hard. Taylor Young is joined in. Yes, Taylor Young. Taylor Young. That's a little chant I made up for you, buddy. That's just for you for the watch-longs. He says, I think if Max wins, Volk would need to get a rematch. Yeah, I mean... I guess. I guess, but then surely that sort of rematch, it's not a rematch clause 'cause it's not in the contract. It's just the way things have happened previously in years. Automatic rematches normally happen when you've had someone defend a belt for X amount of times, you know? Volk's only defended it twice so far. So I'd be inclined to see what the UFC do. Do you do a rematch with Holloway straight away? Or does he go down in the pecking order? Oh, I don't know. We only one way to find out, really. Only one way to find out. But yeah, it's only fair, I guess. Ash is agreeing with him. Ben saying Volk would absolutely deserve an immediate rematch, but don't worry, Volk KOs Max in the third. Will break my heart. Oh, so Ben's kind of wants Max to win. I can see here. Very interesting. I hope he doesn't KO Max. Has Max been stopped before? I don't think he has, right? Or was it once? Did you get stopped once? No, he's never been knocked out. He's only been submitted. You saying Volk's going to be the first guy to do that? I'm interested. Ash saying I got Volkanovski, man. He's a bit. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, Ash is siding with Volkanovski as well. Do you know what? This is going to be so divided come fight night. You know, it's a lot of people were divided over Volkanovski and Ortega as well. You know, I think we're going to see a similar thing. Taylor saying I'm actually going with Max by points as well. So he's siding with Max. My heart's just going with Max. You know, I think overall, because heart saying Max, mind is saying Volk. Purely based on those two fights. That's all I'm going to say. That's where the fantasy league comes in, says Ash. All down for points. Yes, it is. Yes, we'll get into the fantasy league. The link is in the description if you've not joined it already. Yeah, that's my prediction. Okay, let's move on then to the second fight that was announced. Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan. Now, I've not got that many opinions on this because I am absolutely bored of talking about this fight or even thinking about it. Like, just get it over and done with. It's holding up the division. Like, it just needs to happen. I want it to happen ASAP. It should have happened before. Gutted it didn't happen. But, you know, one thing I want to ask you guys is what happens if Sterling was to pull out again? What do you do? You got to strip him. Strip him. If that's the case, you strip him. Okay, this time around. We can't have hold-ups in the division. You know, we can't be having Petr Yan defending his interim belt. Now, okay, I get it that, you know, Dominic Cruz did hold it up many a year ago, and I get it. But, you know, Dominic Cruz at the same time had a lot of title defenses. Aljamain Sterling has won the belt from a no contest. A disqualification, sorry. That's not a legit win. And if he's not going to fight for it, I say strip him. I'm interested to get what you guys think. So Ash is agreeing to strip him. Taylor saying the best is best, baby. The Peter is beating the Oscar winner. Okay, yeah. To be honest, yeah, I'll put my prediction out already. I think Yan stops him this time around. That's my prediction. No hesitation. But I want to ask you another question. What if Petr Yan was to pull out? You know, because I'm now getting Tony versus Khabib vibes from this. If Petr Yan pulls out, and we can't be having that. You know, I just you know, what do you do? Aljamain Sterling versus Jose Aldo for the belt if Petr Yan pulls out. I'm down for it. TJ Dillashaw's not exactly going to be coming back anytime soon. I think he's probably due back in a couple of months' time. But look, that'd be Aldo's opportunity. You know, and in my opinion, that's a more winnable fight than Petr Yan. Could the stars align for Jose Aldo this year if it happens? I know I'm being skeptical. I can't help it. You know, I can't help it. I want this fight to finally be put to bed and rest. And Petr Yan to beat him. Aljamain Sterling, that is. You know, I don't dislike Aljamain Sterling. I don't. I think he is a very good fighter. But you can't help but have some little bit of dislike because of that last fight. And I personally just don't think I don't know. I said going into the first fight that I thought Aljamain would be able to get him down and submit him because he is good on the ground. But the more just from that first fight, just the way that Yan dominated, I just can't see it now. Let me catch up with you guys because you guys have going ham on this at the moment. Yan wins, same. Ash's grin all day. Frankie in for Yan. Behave. I don't know what Von Red means. Sorry, bro. So Ben saying, did you see the UFC poster with Aljo belt cut? I actually did see that, Ben. That was ESPN, I think. That was their poster. It's quite funny. It was, and a lot of people were taking the piss out of Aljo for it. It is hilarious. But I think they may have altered it now. It's one where he's wearing it over the shoulder. Ash agreeing with it. Saw the belt over the shoulder. He did have the belt around his waist instead, and the writing covered the belt for those of you who haven't seen it. That's my take on it. Let's see it, man. Let's see it. Before let's move on then to just go through who else is going to be on that UFC 272 card. We've got Yan Xiaonan will fight Marina Rodriguez. That's a pretty hefty fight at strawweight. Those of you who saw our MVPs of 2021, you saw that we gave Marina Rodriguez in there in the top 5. I think she can beat Yan Xiaonan. It's a tough fight. It is that striker versus striker typical fight. I just think Marina's a little bit more rangy, and I feel her timing is just going to be a lot better than Yan Xiaonan's in that fight, and I can see her taking it. She's a crafty individual nonetheless, and I think she will move on to get that title fight eventually this year. Then also we've got Bryce Mitchell against Edison Barbosa. That's a very difficult fight. That's a very good step up for Bryce Mitchell against Edson. He's, we haven't seen Bryce Mitchell in a little while. He came off that win against Andre Feely. He's on a 14 fight. He's 14-0 at the moment. Edson Barbosa is a great test, and Edson Barbosa is one place above him in the rankings, so it makes sense. Leg kick city all day, man, for Barbosa, but can Bryce Mitchell catch one and take him down? We'll have to see in that one. Then also we've got Jessica I in the flyweight division against Manon Fiorot. Manon Fiorot is she's very technically sound in that flyweight division, and I think that's a great step up for her and a very winnable fight against Jessica I. Question is with Jessica I, are you still competing in MMA? Is your mind fully in it, or is your mind fully in doing what Paige Van Zandt did and just basically create your own OnlyFans? Because that's all I see from Jessica I on social media. So, and another banger on there as well is we've got Mana Moroz against Maria Agapova. Or actually, it's Agapova is how you should say it. It's easy to, it's a difficult name to say, but still. Agapova, is a very entertaining fight to watch as well. That should be an exciting fight. And I'm sure there's going to be plenty more bangers on that card to fill for in March. A lot of bangers are going to be on the March London card, of course, as well, which I'm pretty excited for. Ash saying, let's go Barbosa. Ash is always team Barbosa, I'm afraid. 10th Realm, welcome to the channel, buddy. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, hit the like on the video. He says, is Giga next for Volk if Volk wins, and will Max move to lightweight? Yeah, I kind of answered that question earlier, man. Thanks for the question. I much appreciate it. I think Giga, he would be next in line. He's been tearing through people in this division so far. Can he catch Keita with that Giga kick? Can he put him away? Maybe. Okay, Max struggled to put him away, but I think Giga's kicking game is just out of this world, man. I think he can stop Keita. I'll be interested to see it though. I really want to see it because Giga versus Volkov is a phenomenal fight. And yeah, I want to see that because I'm becoming a fan of Giga. I think he had a phenomenal year last year. Again, just shy out of our top 5 MVPs. We could see that title fight in 2022 towards the latter half, hopefully. Like I said, Volk, UFC could be pushing 2 or 3 title fights out of Volk this year. I'm hoping to see that. Max move to lightweight? No, I can't see it, man. They're too strong up there. Already tried it once against Poirier. He got to Poirier's tested Poirier's power, and that didn't really like that. However, he could move up a lightweight, maybe fight Conor. Second fight, it's possible. You know, I think that'd be the more likely matchup. But you know, look, there's always a lot of options for Conor McGregor. Let's face it. So yeah, Ash basically agrees with you. Giga is a future legend, says Ben Lawrence. Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, he is one crafty individual. Exciting to watch, and look, I can't wait to get through that fight with you guys and watch it with you next weekend. So that's going to basically wrap everything up for this news segment. You know, next weekend we're back with a UFC event finally after all of these, all this time, all these weeks. Yeah, I can't wait to sit down and watch it with you guys. We've got some more content coming this weekend. This weekend we're going to be putting out a video, and it's going to be our ones to watch, top 5 ones to watch. For this year, myself, Ash, and Sai, we've all done our own top 5. So you guys are going to be deciding whose top 5 is better. And look, we can't wait to hear your top 5s as well. So stay tuned for that. Ben, last few chats before I go. Dustin choked Max out lightweight. Didn't look good at all, says Ben. Can't wait Ash saying, can't wait for the next watch along, man. Yep, absolutely. Thanks, guys. See you later, says Ben. 10th Realm says, I mean, if Max loses to Volk, third fight, and Volk retains his belt for a while, what a point for Max to stay. What's the point in Max staying at featherweight? Yeah, he'll just be a gatekeeper. Just be a gatekeeper in the division. I mean, it is what it is, right? Okay, that's all I got time for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Get your comments in below. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and yeah, stay up to date with all the content that we're going to bring you here on ATF. All right, guys. Peace out. Stay safe.